Look at what I have in my hands. I hope you can see this. In this hand, I have a connector part from my aerospace company, American Connector Supply. We keep about 17 million parts on hand in several different warehouses, and we sell millions of dollars worth of parts every year, primarily to the U.S. military and our ally nations. This part is valuable. It's worth a few $100s. The pins inside of here are actual gold. It feels substantial. It has some decent weight to it. In my other hand, I have a penny, which is virtually worthless. I mean, the government just stopped making more pennies because it cost them more to make the penny than it was worth. Pennies at 1 cent are almost trash in our day, right? If I was at my house right now, I could get a tungsten cube and compare it to the density of another cube, something like aluminum. I like metal, and it's fascinating how much weight tungsten has. Set these down, and maybe the best illustration you'll have to imagine here, because I'm not at my house, is if I had 2 coins. In my right hand, if I had a genuine 1-ounce silver American Eagle. It feels substantial. It has intrinsic value. If the world economy collapsed tomorrow, it would still be worth a tank of gas or a decent sandwich. It has real, true value. And in my left hand, let's say I had a Chuck E. Cheese token from roughly 1998 when I graduated from high school. It would be made of brass, maybe some recycled paper clips, probably even some plastic in it. Its value would be entirely dependent on whether the guy working the prize counter is in a good mood, and if you want a plastic spider ring or some trashy little thing that you can get at Chuck E. Cheese. Now imagine a world where the government passed a crazy law that said, from this day forward, by royal decree, this silver coin and this Chuck E. Cheese worthless token must be accepted equally. They both buy exactly 1 loaf of bread, or whatever the unit of measurement is. Now think about that. If you had both of these in your pocket and you needed to buy bread, which one are you going to hand to the cashier? Well, you're going to spend the token, right? Of course you are. You're not stupid. You're not going to take something of true value and substance and spend it for a loaf of bread when you can buy it for the token. You're going to get rid of the junk coin to get your bread, and you're going to take the beautiful silver coin home, maybe bury it in your backyard, save it. You don't want it to get confused for a junk coin. Why? Because the official value is the same, but the real value is vastly different. And here's what happens next. Very quickly, all the silver coins disappear from the marketplace. They go into hiding. The only thing left circling in your town is thousands and thousands of worthless brass Chuck E. Cheese tokens. The economy looks busy, money's moving around, but it's all junk. And this isn't just a hypothetical story about pizza arcades. This is an ironclad economic principle that explains why your church culture might feel shallow, why your business might be losing its best employees, or why your family values might feel like they're slipping. It's called Gresham's Law. Stay with me here, because the basic principle is that bad money drives out good. I'm Dr. Nathan Crockett. I own about 19 different businesses. Several of those I started. I love economics. I love teaching. My PhD is actually in theology. And I realize for someone who's likes economics, it usually means they spend their time making simple things sound complicated. But today I want to do the opposite. I want to take a deeply important economic principle and show you how it affects your ministry, your business, and ultimately, to some degree, your soul. I'm talking to you, the pastor trying to build a healthy church staff. You, the Christian business owner trying to maintain integrity in a cutthroat market. You, I'm talking to the parent trying to raise kids who love Jesus in a TikTok world. We need to talk about Sir Thomas Gresham. He was a financier for Queen Elizabeth I back in the 1500s. He noticed a problem. Previous kings, let's mention Henry VIII, who had expensive habits like wars, and Henry VIII had lots of weddings. They had debased the currency. Here's what they did. They would take a pure silver coin, they would melt it down, they would mix in a bunch of cheap copper, recast it to look the same, and say, hey, this is still worth 1 shilling. It was a lie. It was a counterfeit backed by the government. This was bad money. The pure silver coins were good money. Gresham famously realized something that we now call Gresham's Law. Bad money drives out good. If you force people to accept bad money at the same face value as good money, people will hoard the good and circulate the bad. Now, why does this matter to you as a Christian leader? You aren't minting coins in the church basement. At least I hope you're not. If so, that's a different video that we need to have for that one, right? It matters to you because you're a banker of culture. What do I mean by that? Every day in your church, your business, your home, there are different types of currencies circulating. There are high value behaviors like integrity, diligence, sacrifice, truth telling. That's, in our analogy, that's the silver. And there are cheap, debased behaviors like gossip, cutting corners, mediocrity, flattery. That's the copper. If you, as the leader, set an exchange rate where the cheap behavior buys the same amount of recognition and reward as the costly behavior, you've just enacted Gresham's law. You're guaranteeing that the cheap, the worthless, the base behavior will flood your organization and the good behavior will go into hiding. Let's look at 3 very specific ways that this could happen. So this is application for the currency of our culture. First of all, let's talk about your organizational culture. Imagine you run a Christian nonprofit or a small business. You have 2 different employees. Employee A is silver. They're diligent. They do deep work. They don't seek the spotlight. They always deliver excellence, even when no one is watching. They tell you the hard truths that you need to hear. They're silver. Employee B is copper. They're flashy. They're great at self-promotion in meetings. They cut corners on the actual work, but they're always there to flatter you and tell you how great your new idea is. Now, here's the test of your leadership. When it comes time for praise, bonus, promotion, who gets it? If you, because you're busy or easily swayed by flattery, give the same recognition to the copper employee as you do to the silver employee, consider the message you just sent to your whole organization. You just declared, in this organization, shallow flashiness holds the same value as deep diligence. What happens to the silver employee? You think that they're going to keep spending their valuable energy? Probably not. They'll probably get demoralized. They'll say, why am I working so hard when copper over there gets the same reward for half the effort? So the silver employee either leaves, taking their value elsewhere, or they stop trying. They hoard their best efforts. Meanwhile, the copper employees see that cutting corners works, so they continue to multiply. And you get more and more of that. Suddenly, your organization is busy, but it's full of mediocrity. Bad culture drove out the good culture. As a Christian leader, you can't afford to value hype over holiness or charisma over character. You have to know the difference between the silver and the base metal, and you must reward them differently. Let's apply this to the church world, specifically how we develop leaders and volunteers. What's the valuable currency in kingdom leadership? Jesus told us it's servanthood, it's humility, it's taking up your cross, it's washing feet. That's the pure silver in Christ's world, right? What's the cheap currency of leadership? It's talent without character. It's the ability to draw a crowd, but not to disciple a soul. It's being gifted on stage, but a wreck at home. Pastor, listen to me. If you are desperate to fill slots on a Sunday morning, the temptation to ignore Gresham's law is immense. I mean, you have a gap in your worship team. Along comes someone who has the voice of an angel, but treats people poorly, has zero interest in spiritual growth, but boy, they sure sound good. If you put them up on center stage, what are you telling your congregation? You're saying that talent is the currency that buys influence here, not character. When you elevate giftedness over godliness, you debase the currency of leadership. What happens to your truly godly, humble servants, the ones washing feet in the nursery or setting up chairs at 6 a.m.? They see the worship leader getting all the praise and they feel devalued. The good currency goes into hiding. Faithful people pull back, and your leadership pipeline fills up with people who just want a microphone. You have to be brave enough to say, hey, your talent is impressive, but your character isn't ready for the weight of leadership yet. You have to protect the standard of the silver coin. Finally, let's bring this right down to your own heart, your own personal integrity. In your own life, truth should be the gold standard. A lie, even a little one, is a debased coin. The world tells you that little lies are necessary lubricant for business and life. Just fudge the numbers a little on that tax form. Everybody does it. Just tell the client the project is done when you haven't started it yet. Buy yourself some extra time. But when you tell that first little white lie to avoid an awkward moment, I mean, it might work. It might seem to buy you peace. It felt like it had the same purchasing power as the truth. It sure was cheaper to produce. So what happens? You might use it again and again and again, and Gresham's law kicks in. If you allow lies to circulate in your life alongside the truth, eventually telling the hard truth feels too expensive. Why pay the high price of honesty when a cheap lie seems to get the job done? Soon the truth is hoarded away. You know it inside, but you rarely speak it out loud. Your outward life becomes a circulation of spin and half-truths and manipulation. Christian leader, bad money drives out good. You can't mix darkness with light and expect the light to win if you're giving them equal footing in your habits. Gresham's law is a warning. It reminds us that authenticity is expensive and cheap substitutes are always available and very eager to take over. Whether you're leading a staff meeting, raising teenagers, or examining your own heart, you're the guardian of the currency. Don't let the brass tokens of mediocrity, hype, and dishonesty pass for silver in your kingdom work as a Christian leader. Identify the good stuff, value it, reward it, bring it out of hiding, and ruthlessly refuse to let the bad stuff circulate in its place. Keep the standard high, because in the end, only the genuine article will stand the test of fire, right? Thanks so much for watching. I hope this was helpful to you as a Christian leader. If it was, consider giving it a thumbs up or subscribing to the channel, or maybe sharing this video with a friend. Thanks again, and I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful day rejoicing in Jesus.